Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you enjoyed the podcast that came out yesterday. This has been recorded on the same day, hence why I'm wearing the same attire. This is obviously another video I thought about ages ago. Before I thought about coming back to the channel, I thought about this video. My top 5 Pompey memories. I hope you all enjoy this video. I'm not sure what you all think of it. Let me know your top 5 Pompey memories or your memories of Pompey in the comments. And yeah, let's get straight into it. We'll start off with my first ever away game in the league. Obviously my first away game was Ipswich in the Cup, but this one meant a bit more. This was Wycombe away in the league in 2017, just before we went on to win the title. This game wasn't a good game. We lost 1-0. We deflected goal, it was raining. But the memory is because it was my first away game with my dad. Obviously we both know it's the first time I think he'd ever gone away. We'd gone on the train. We'd met a load of people up there. Obviously went with my stepdad to Ipswich away in the Cup. It was a great day out. But I think Wycombe away to me was more of a memory because it felt a bit more personal with me and my dad. We met loads of people. Dad knew loads of people that were up there that had obviously come down for the Pompey game. We obviously, I didn't know many people at that time and we got to know them that day. And no matter what the result was, the atmosphere was great. I got introduced to Pompey. That was my first ever kind of experience of Pompey. I had a season ticket that season for the first time as well, so I kind of got into the know about what was going on with the club. I didn't know much before then. Obviously I'm a Pompey boy. I knew about it. I loved the club, but I never was really into going and watching them. So that was the first ever away game I had in the league. And that was followed by another memory in the same season. I'm going to go in chronological order because I don't have a top 5. This is just kind of 5 that I like. This is Notts County away. Obviously, every single Pompey fan that has supported us for the last 20 years will know about this day. It was a day when we finally, as a club, got back. We'd finally stopped the rot of going down and stopped the financial problems. And we got fan-owned. That was all in the past. And now we'd gone up back into League One for the first time in 4 seasons. And yeah, 4,000 Pompey fans travelled up. We all the pubs were full when we got there. We got on the coach early morning. By the time we got up there about 12, everything was full. Nothing was around. My personal memory is leaving my programme in the seat when we ran on the pitch, and then the flare that went up landed right in between my feet. And I now have a blue stain around the middle of both of my shoes that I've kept to this day from that day 3 years ago. Obviously, not long ago. This month, it was exactly 3 years. It still feels like yesterday to me as a Pompey fan, but yeah, that's there. And then the next memory is once again from that season. Great season. I don't think anyone can deny that. It was my first proper season supporting Pompey. So my 3 of my 5 here are that season. This one is Cheltenham at home that season. This is the game where we sealed champions. We sealed the title with the last 30 minutes of football that season. We obviously annihilated Cheltenham 6-1 that day, but the main thing that we needed to rely on was Plymouth and Doncaster and how they were playing that day. Obviously, Plymouth, I think they drew away at Grimsby, couldn't get a winning goal. Doncaster lost to Hartlepool. Hartlepool got relegated anyway, but Doncaster lost, so I think we finished first. I know that. I don't know. I can't remember now if it was Doncaster or Plymouth that backed us up, but the trophy wasn't in Portsmouth, which is the funny story. We didn't get that until the next day. The day after as well, the party celebration was when Gareth Evans got his famous song, Gareth Evans is a Blue, he hates Scummers, because he sung, if you all hate Scummers, clap your hands. He was a bit intoxicated, but he was loving it. That's why he's now Pompey folklore, and now we'll be talking about him for years to come. But that team definitely epitomised what Pompey's all about. You have names like Enda Stevens was in that team. Look at where he is now, Sheffield United. Matt Clark, Brighton, but he's on loan from Derby. He's on loan to Derby, sorry. Yeah, that team was phenomenal. We've still got a couple of them now, but yeah, that game in particular was just a game that epitomised football. Really, it's not over until the whistle goes at the end of the season. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Those 2 other teams were at the top for 130 days each. We nipped in for the last little bit and got it in there for 30 minutes, and we won the league. It's just an amazing story. And then coming in my 4th place, or my 2nd place, or whatever you want to call it, the 4th one, is the Checkatrade Trophy final last season. Now, this is going to be a memory in any modern Pompey fan mind. It's never going to be forgotten by anyone that was there, anyone that was watching, because, let's be honest, not a lot of fans in the modern era have seen us play at Wembley. Obviously, we've been there many a time, but the last time was 2010, and that's a long time in terms of Pompey since we've been at Wembley. Obviously, we had the gap until 2008. We hadn't been there in years. But now to come back to Wembley after all we'd been through, going down to League Two, going into administration twice, we'd gone from AC Milan to York, but now we felt, right, we're back at Wembley, let's do it. Obviously playing another powerhouse that have dropped, Sunderland, played them in the final, beat them, won a trophy. My first memory of us winning a trophy other than obviously the league title win. It was not only seeing my team play at Wembley, which would have been enough for me, it was seeing my team win a trophy at Wembley, which was just amazing. So yeah, that makes its place into the top 5. And now I'm going to get onto just a couple of honourable mentions, because obviously I've got so many memories of going to watch Pompey that they can't all make a top 5. So we'll start off with 6K to MK. That was the first season when we came up to League One. We didn't know what had happened. We didn't know whether we'd be able to cope. Obviously, new manager came in because Paul Cook left for Wigan for the money. Or what? Did I say that? Paul Cook left for Wigan. So Kenny Jackett came in and he brought with it a new style of play. Obviously, people have criticised it. I'm not going to make my opinions clear here. But we took 6,000 up to Milton Keynes. We were 1-0 down in the 89th minute and somehow came out of that game with 3 points. Obviously, Matt Clark scored the first one and we thought, yes, we've got a draw. Then Chaplin scored in the 92nd, ran the length of the pitch and jumped in front of the Pompey fans, which was just amazing for me. Obviously, flares going off everywhere. Amazing day out that was. The next one is Exeter at home. Not long before all this happened, we played Exeter at home. Once again, 1-0 down, got one back, 2-1 down, 89th minute. Up stepped Cameron McGee and he equalised. Then the 94th, 95th minute, you had Marquis on the back post with a header. Just Pompey once again not laying down and dying with that fighting spirit. Just amazing to book yet another trip to Wembley. And then 2 away games from last season that stood out to me, obviously as a Pompey fan forever, let alone just last season. But first of all, Burton away. We went 1-0 up with a sublime strike from Ben Close. And then they equalised. And then we just looked like, okay, we're going for a point. Come on, we needed a result. Boiling hot day, sun was shining. And then up stepped Nathan Thompson with a handball to square it to Matt Clark, who finished on the back post. Obviously, we don't care it was a handball. We would if it was against us, but that day it didn't matter. The celebrations continued the whole way home. We thought that day that we really could go up. Obviously, we didn't. We messed that up. But it was just such a great memory. I remember many things about that day. Flares going off everywhere, scenes in the away end. And the other away game is Peterborough away for obvious reasons. We were second, they were first. What else do you have to say? We beat them 2-0. 2-1. I keep forgetting they scored in the last minute. That's the only thing I can't remember about the day. But we went up there with a bit of confidence about us. We now thought, okay, we might be able to go up this season. We were second, they were top, obviously, as I've already said. And we dominated from the off. Obviously, I think Ollie Hawkins got the first one. Or Ollie Hawkins and Jamal Lowe scored, I think. I know Ollie Hawkins scored. I think Jamal Lowe scored the other one. I'm not entirely sure. I think I'm right. And then I think Jason Cummings scored for them in the last minutes. But that was another game where celebrations didn't end until the next day, because we truly then believed. But now, without further ado, I'm going to get on to, this is probably going to be my top memory anyway. I thought I'd put this one in last because it's kind of the one that means the most to me. The Checkatrade Trophy final obviously is up there as well. It's massive for me. But this one I think edges it slightly because it's my first experience. It was the South Coast Derby this season. Again, when we lost 4-0, yeah, we may have been absolutely hammered that day. But it was more for the experience of the day rather than the actual game. We came into it as a League One team playing a Prem team who they're worth a lot more than us. They've got much more expensive players. We came into it as fans thinking if we can just make an atmosphere here. Obviously, Ralph Hasenhüttl, their manager, after the game was having an interview. You could just hear us, and he said these fans are amazing. You can still hear them singing now. That's very unheard of from one of their managers to say about us. But it was everything about that day, from the police line in the streets before. From the moment I stepped out of that house, I could hear Pompey fans singing across the city. And I went to the Shepherd's Crook, Pompey fans going mental in there. There was pyros flying off into the road, and then I walked to the Victory Bar, and even in there it was beyond anything I'd ever experienced. And from the moment we got into the Fratton end that day, it was just beyond it was surreal for me, really. I just imagined it would be. I imagined it'd be good, but I didn't think it'd be that good. Even with us losing 4-0, I don't think anyone cared about the result that night. I think that they'll always say, 4-0, 4-0, but I don't think anyone in Pompey generally cared as much about the result as they did about the fans that night. Well, I think everyone in Pompey would agree with me here when saying we knew we'd lose that night. I think we had a bit of a kind of, come on, can we grab a win? Can we grab a draw? But I don't think anyone actually believed we'd be able to beat them. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I obviously thought of it ages ago, but now I've come around to doing it. I'm recording this on VE Day, so happy. No, I'm not. I keep saying that, but I'm recording it the day before VE Day. I don't know what I was doing my words there. I'm recording this day before VE Day, but it's going out on VE Day. So happy VE Day to any of you out there celebrating. Obviously, don't go out and party too much because you can't really go anywhere. Stay in your front garden, talk to your neighbours if you want, to have a little street party. I think that's my plans anyway. But yeah, Victory in Europe Day from the war. Have a great one. Hope any older fans of the channel can let me know how it is down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment your Pompey memories, especially as well. I want to hear them. I'll definitely reply to every single comment down below, and I like it. Don't forget to follow the Twitter @FansOnTheRoad, which is also, I think, just panhandle Blake O'Neill, and on Instagram Blake_YT. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. And I hope you enjoyed the podcast yesterday. At the Blues.